She's a London-based author and actress and screenwriter who has written some of my favorite psychological thrillers, including the #1 New York Times bestseller and Reese's Book Club pick, Something in the Water. And her new book, The Disappearing Act, is here just in time to satiate all of your summer reading needs. Catherine Steadman, welcome to the middle.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. Okay, so the new book, The Disappearing Act, this is it. I'm obsessed. Tell us a little bit about it without giving too much away.
Okay, so it is a psychological thriller, and it's set during pilot season in LA. And for anyone who doesn't know what pilot season is, it's sort of springtime from February. It rolls on a bit now, maybe towards May, February to May, like a couple of months. All the actors from all over the world descend on LA and sort of fight it out, sort of bun fight for who gets roles in all the TV shows that are going to be shot that year.
And you are very well versed in the acting world, being an actress yourself. So, did you draw from any real life inspiration for the situations and or characters in this book?
Well, certainly for the background of the story. Obviously, it's a psychological thriller, and I don't think I've known anyone who's been murdered or nearly murdered or
That's good.
anything like that. So that part of it is purely speculative. But yes, the background of the story, I've tried to sort of weave as much sort of insider info about LA in pilot season, and there's a chapter on gifting suites and lots of kind of juicy little details and stuff that I've managed to sort of weave into it, hopefully.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, I feel like being an entertainment reporter and host, I'm pretty close to that world, but there's still so many things you don't know unless you are physically in it. So follow up to the other question, do you hate LA?
Oh my God, no, God, no, no. I really hope that's not something that comes across in the book. No, it is a really interesting place. And I hopefully for the reader, what will come across is it's two different places. For tourists, it's one sort of place. And if you go there for the industry to be involved in the film and TV industry, it's a totally different place. And it is endlessly fascinating. Just like so many little anecdotes about auditions and funny things that happen. And yeah, I mean, no, I love LA. And it's that dichotomy of like, I don't know, like there'll be a day when something amazing will happen, and there'll be also the same day you'll be stuck in a 5-hour traffic jam. Like LA is like these two, it's like stardust and dreams and highways. It's like these two completely different things. Yeah.
No, I was kidding, but I'm New York City based, and it's funny because I feel like you're either one or the other. Like you either love it or hate it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
Okay, yeah.
it's
I'm not sure I'd want to live there, but it's definitely good to sort of fly in, get the best of it, and fly back
and
home.
get out, right.
Yeah.
I always ask my thriller authors that I have on, do you have an outline and know what is going to happen before you start writing, or do you just get into it and see what happens as you go?
Well, for my publisher, I tend to write a synopsis. So I have a starting point. I have the main characters, and I never tell my publisher the twist. I try to make it sort of more like the blurb at the back of a book, so enough to sort of make them know, what it's going to be about, the setting, and the sort of hook of the story. But I never tell them what the twist is, because I always have like 3 or 4 ideas in my head, and I kind of wait until I've got, sometimes almost, 2/3 through before I've decided. And sometimes like right up to like the last couple of chapters, I'll go like, oh my God, actually, how much better would it be if it turned out to be this? And then I'll try it out. And I think my thinking is if I can sort of surprise myself by the time I get to the end, then I'll definitely surprise the reader. So I like to keep it fresh in that way. Yeah.
I love that's my favorite part about reading psychological thrillers because I feel like and I read a lot, so I'm always thinking I know what's gonna happen, and
Yeah,
then when I'm tricked, I'm like, "Oh, that's when you know it's good." So,
yeah.
when you are in the midst of writing, do you get freaked out, or are you unfazed by the genre at this point?
Um, I like to get a little bit freaked out. I use this analogy of about kind of like to paint myself into a corner. So I'm like, okay, so this has happened. And in order for that to happen, that means none of those people could have seen that or been there. So I'm like, oh my God, how could it have happened? And if I can find a way that it could have happened, that's feasible and makes sense, and it takes me a while to work it out, then I know it's going to be like a really sort of bang on twist because people go, oh my God, because it's taken me so long to do it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I kind of like it to get a little bit hard. And that's where the real joy comes when you go, oh my God, that's how they did it. Or, that's like, I think that's really fun for the reader.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, when are we getting adaptations of your books?
Oh God. So hopefully soon. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still waiting to hear back about Something in the Water, because that was picked up by Reese Witherspoon and Hello Sunshine and Fox 2000. But Fox 2000 was bought, I think, by Disney. So it went into a kind of holding pattern with them. But I think Hello Sunshine are in talks with some other networks and things about doing a movie of it. So fingers crossed the next couple of months we'll hear about that. Also Mr. Nobody, I've heard that there's some top secret interest in that, and so that's fantastic. But yeah, it's one of those things, like, you never know until you know in
Mhm.
this industry. It's
Of
like
course.
you always like got to wait until the day something's actually signed, and even then it's like, could it happen, might not happen.
Right. No,
Yeah.
but they're also visual, all of your books, so I can't wait to see them come to life. Now, will you be in them or a part of the screenwriting process, or is that still too far away to even?
um not of my books. In terms of screenwriting, I've actually started screenwriting myself, and I'm in the process of selling a TV series that I've written myself. So I'm sort of like working with a production company to get me up to speed,
Yeah.
because I would like, eventually, once I've sort of had a go at it, to be more involved in that. But at the moment, it's Hello Sunshine are finding a writer, and they've got someone working on that, which I'm so happy about, because everything they've produced so far has been so amazing
Yeah.
that yeah, it's definitely a safe pair of hands. In terms of acting in them, I am very much of the school of thought, I want to keep the things completely separate.
Oh, okay.
um, yeah, like the worlds are so different, and I like the control you have over your own story when you're a writer.
Mhm.
But I also like, turning up, on the day and learning your lines. And if I had to also, do one thing and the other, I think I'd be so neurotic on set. I'd be like, what are they doing with that? Where's that going? But that's not in the story,
Right. Yeah, I can only imagine I would feel, like, very controlling or, like, protective over it if it
Yeah,
were mine.
yeah. It's so yeah, I'm really happy for them to be completely separate, and like a holiday from each of the things. Yeah.
So what do you prefer, because you do so many things? Do you like being able to go back and forth, or is one thing like your main thing right now?
Um, I think during the pandemic, because acting has really slowed down. I mean, everything is by Zoom, and when things do sort of happen, it's like you have to bubble in a different country with, all the all the crew and cast and everything. So that's quite difficult at the moment. And also, I've been finishing off my fourth book. So I'd say like writing's the main thing, especially during the pandemic. But now things are starting to open up again. And yeah, and auditions are sort of going back to normal. So I think there'll probably be a bit more acting this year. But I've got my fourth book in. So whew, I
When is
can.
the when is that coming out?
Well, next year, I think. I'm not sure on the date exactly, because I think there are quite a lot of things backed up because of the pandemic.
Mhm.
you know, people holding things back. They're like, it's too soon for this. People are still pandemic. So yeah.
But can you tell me anything about it, like the setting at least? Because that's, I
Yeah,
love all of your
sure. It's,
settings.
I like the location to be very much a character in the story, and I like to kind of transport the reader to the place. So this is all set in New York and upstate New York, so New York
Okay.
City and upstate New York. And it sort of takes place in the sort of higher echelons of New York society. And yeah, it's I kind of like it's got a kind of, I hope, a Knives Out kind of vibe.
Oh.
But we'll see, it's early days with it, so we'll see.
Well, I don't doubt it. All of your books, when I saw that this was happening, I got so excited because it's I read so many books, and it's one of those things that when people say, "Oh, what should I read? Give me a recommendation." I can never think of anything off the top of my head, but I always think of Something in the Water. Like for some reason that just sticks in my brain. I think because it was so good and so beautiful. Like and that juxtaposition of like the terror that's happening and then like the beautiful setting. I love it. So everybody, if you need summer reading books, The Disappearing Act is here, and then read Something in the Water and Mr. Nobody if you have not already. Catherine, what is your Instagram? I'll put it up on the screen.
It's Cat Steadman.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I can't wait to see what's next for you.
Yeah, thanks, Ashley.